Well, hello, everybody. I'm in California right now, and we are having people from all over the country here tonight. I'm Alita Spire, one of the national marketing directors on the Heat NMD team. And once a month, we have this call, and we bring in a very, very special guest, which is really awesome. So tonight is no different. Um, Tonight, we are going to bring in somebody who maybe some of you don't know who she is. It's hard to believe that she has a teenager. She looks like a teenager herself. So Nicole Thomas, I've gotten to know her a lot within the last couple months, several months. What I love about Nicole is she really gets right back to you, which is we really appreciate that, Nicole. You were very attentive to your Voxer, and you come up with really good ideas and stuff. So Nicole has over 10 years of corporate experience in the direct sales, multi-level marketing industry, health and wellness, and beauty sectors being her expertise. So her diverse background includes working for billion-dollar giants as well as agile startups and international markets, allowing her to bring a fresh perspective, innovation, and creativity to our ever-growing industry. She herself was in the field early on and grew up in the industry with both her dad and her stepmom were both distributors for many companies, Juice Plus being one of them. Whoa. And so that's cool. And so she was a Juice Plus kid. She's still a kid. And she was part of the Healthy Starts program. She lives in North Texas with an amazing husband and four kids, three daughters, one son, who's the baby of the family. And her free time is spent on the softball field and most weeknights and weekends. And she has worked for Mary Kay, Beachbody, Amare Global, just to name a couple. She started with Amare when they only had about 3,000 partners. So she comes with a lot of experience and a lot of wisdom for such a young age. I'm just going to move this little thing out of the way here. Um, so, Nicole, we're going to just do kind of an interview type so that you can just answer some questions that maybe we're all dying to know.
I
So,
love that.
I heard on the call the other day that we have 100,000 reps worldwide. Is that true?
Um, yeah, at any given moment, that's a moving number, right? So when you
Yeah.
think about how many places we're in, and new people coming in and other people going out, it's always hard to have like an exact number any given day, but I would say that's about right. Probably more, probably a
Okay.
little more.
All right. I was just curious about
Mm-hmm.
that. So, what is the one thing about you that nobody in the Juice Plus company knows?
Oh my gosh. I think I don't have a lot of secrets. I don't know if you guys know this, but Skylar knows me really well. So if you guys have gotten to know Skylar, he and I go way back. So I probably don't have many secrets that he doesn't know, and he's part of Juice Plus. I will give you something that's a new hobby for me that most people don't know about because I don't share about it often, and it's kind of obscure, which is during Christmas time, my husband bought me a tattoo gun. And I have been learning how to tattoo on my free time. My kids make fun of me because they're like, Mom, you don't have any traditional hobbies. And I said, Well, that sounds boring. What do you want me to do? You just want me to be at home knitting, which I can do. But I am learning how to tattoo, which is kind of fun. It's a very fun creative outlet. I, I like to think I can do things. It's a lot harder than you would assume.
I imagine. Who do you
But that
practice on?
I actually you practice on fake skin, and soon to be my husband is going to be my canvas. He's weary of it,
Wow.
but one of these days.
Wow, that is very interesting.
Hmm.
Interesting. So, we already know where you came from and everything, so it's kind of interesting to see that you've worked in other companies. What position did you hold in other companies?
Before I came here, right before I came here, I was actually the international director. And so what I all To be fair, I was in charge of the US, but I was also in charge of expanding into 13 different countries. So that's what I was busy doing before I got to Juice Plus. Really fun thing to learn, really hard job. because I have four kids, so international jobs are very difficult, as you can imagine. Um, but I've always been since I started my career, I have always been in the sales team. I've always been in business development. I have been in always right with the field. That is my sweet spot, probably because I was the kid that was handing samples out to all of my teachers, and I was the kid that was, working at the various farmers markets and whatever craft fair with my parents at their booths. I was really lucky to be able to grow up in a house full of people on Friday nights and Saturday afternoons with parties. And I truly grew up around the kitchen table. So when I got offered to join this industry on the corporate side, I was really excited that I got to just at least be close to the field. But it wasn't on my radar. I actually was a business owner. I got a random request to be a contractor for Mary Kay to come in to give entrepreneur advice to people
Wow.
and women to develop their businesses, and it just turned into a permanent job that I've now been doing for 10 years. I still own the other business that I was running and it's very successful, but it doesn't need me. And this truly is something that I'm super passionate about. I was a kid that grew up in Northern California, and I had a single dad. When he remarried my stepmom, she was always in this industry. And when I tell you she did every business you could possibly think of, I mean every single one. And Juice Plus was probably my parents' favorite, and where they were the most successful, and it's etched in my mind and always has been. Um, but it wasn't ever necessarily something that I thought I would do. But I saw the business for what it did for me. And I am not being dramatic here. I was able to have a cap and gown to graduate high school because of a Juice Plus paycheck. My parents both had lost their jobs at the time. So and people always ask, why do you work on the corporate side and not in the field? Um, it's hard to explain. There has to be a me, right? Somebody's got to do it. But I will say I've been in the field. I will say that I caught the bug pretty quick when I got to hand keys of a car that one of my consultants had earned. Um, to a single mom who worked really, really hard for a year and she didn't have a car. And so once I handed her those keys and I got to deliver her this car, it was just something where I said, oh, I'm probably going to be doing this for a long time.
That's really cool that you have the experience of being a single mom, the experience of
Mhm.
being single, and then also the experience of being a kid of entrepreneurs, of network
Mhm.
marketers. So you have a lot of all the way around. You have experience. What do you feel your strongest strength is as our regional director, and which states does it encompass?
My biggest strength is people. I love people and I am a good listener. I wasn't always a good listener because I am born an Italian girl and we don't listen very well. For all of you who know somebody who's Italian, or if you are,
I'm
don't
Italian.
don't say that I'm lying because you know it. But I have learned over time. I don't know if you guys are really familiar with DISC. That person, it's all about your personality. My number one trait is relator. I can meet anyone and find something that I can, hone in on and relate to so I can have an understanding of who you are and what your particular needs are. And so I think you guys will find over time I will be your best friend and not in a non-genuine way, but I genuinely care about people and I want every single person that I meet to succeed. So for me, I think probably just being a people person is my number one strength. And second to that is I also always want people to feel like they have the tools that they need to be able to do what they need to do. But I don't like giving blanket responses. What I
Right.
tell you is not what I'm going to tell Barb or Debbie or Erica, because you're different people and you're going to work your businesses differently. And I do think that's my superpower, because I will never just give a script or anything like that. Everything that I do is always person to person.
I love
Um,
that.
for states that I cover, think about everything in the West, take out Colorado and take out Texas, and that's all mine. So that's the best way to describe it. We have Washington, Oregon, California, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana. I'm missing some. I know I am. There's some other states in there. The Dakotas, maybe. No, those aren't mine. We have a very small region. We have a very small region, but we also have a region that was the biggest at one point and is
Yeah.
going to be the biggest. Again, let me be very clear. Stacy, as much as I love her and she is my very best friend on my team, I tell her all the time, I am coming for your spot. The East will be number two. I just tell Jason, just pretend like you don't see what I'm doing, because we're bringing the West back to the number one spot. That is, I am a competitive lady. So,
I love your
um,
confidence, Nicole. Really
nobody,
great.
I, you got to be confident,
Yeah.
you got to do it.
So how do you navigate a leader on the West who has a rep in the central region or the eastern region? How does that work? Do we have to go to the RD in the central, or can we?
No, we all work really, really great together. And we always make sure that, that's always hard with regions, right? Because this business is not a regional business. You guys don't just grow your business in the West. Yes, Beth, that is you. So Beth actually comes to one of my weekly calls. She is not in my region. And I just texted Jason and said, "Hey, do you mind if Beth comes to my call? She really wants to." And he was like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" We all want to we love on each other's people, and we want to make sure that everybody has the support they need with who they're, working with. And if I'm working with somebody's upline and, they have other people in the East and they say, "Hey, I want my people in the East to hear this," then we do that. So we're as RDs, we're all really great about working with each
That's
other's
great.
people. Yeah.
So I was just going to ask you that question because to me, when I was a Q, it was really nice to be with other Qs so that we can be
Mhm.
like-minded, and plus our teams were, we're struggling at the time or not struggling. And like, I understand you've opened it up a little bit to people who are really working the business. So do you have any plans to do NMD only
Yeah,
meetings?
I have a lot of plans. I have so many plans, and the last I've been here, it feels like a lot longer, but I have only been here for 3 months and I haven't even scratched the surface of all the things
Yeah.
that we can do. I will tell you, the other day I personally emailed 1,500 SCs on the West Coast. Um,
Wow.
just to see who's who in the zoo. So if you got an email for me and you haven't responded, I'd appreciate a response, Nancy. I did.
Uh,
I also, I'm a firm believer in working everywhere. So you also will see that Cam and I are going to be talking to all the new partners you bring in. So anytime a new partner comes in, within a week, they're going to hear from me and they're going to hear from Cam. We're going to do things a little bit different in the West because we have to. We're a little bit of a sleeping giant. And so if that means I'm working one-on-one with a partner plus, an SC, an NMD, I'm going to be working with everyone.
mhm. That sounds good. I still like to vote for that. A Q, I mean, an
Yeah,
NMD
let's do it.
group. That would be
I'm
really
open.
awesome.
Let's do it,
Yeah.
and let's do it.
Okay. So, I love the way you get back to everybody promptly like that. And I also love your enthusiasm and your humility. You have a lot of humility too, which is really neat. So what is your biggest challenge since you've been over here that you've had to overcome?
Oh, let's see. I think we all know what the biggest challenge is, right? I mean, you guys are probably all thinking about it. It's the biggest challenge that you guys have had for a year now. That's really hard to walk
Coming up
into.
on a year. That's right.
Um, it's hard to walk into it because what that means for me is I already, as a new person coming in, have to try and establish trust with you guys, right? You don't know me. You're like, who is this person? She's going to tell me how I should magically work my business. So I already have to develop that. But when, you guys have struggled for a year with some pretty tough stuff,
Mhm.
that is really hard. But to me, it's a challenge, but it's a challenge to accept because I've been through it before multiple times. Um, you guys wouldn't believe that in 2016 at Mary Kay, I still had files
Mhm.
on floppy disks. Okay, so imagine that digital transformation we had to go through. It was really, really rough. And so I know how you guys feel. I know how hard it is. But
Mhm.
I'm definitely a person that I see obstacles and I'm like, okay, well, let's figure out another way, because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, to me, the business is very simple. And if I look about how we did it in the 90s, how my parents did it in the 90s, like I'll take it all the way back to the basics because we still got stuff done and we didn't even have all of those things, right? So, I always just try to focus on the things that really truly matter that are going to bring in your paycheck. And sometimes it's not a report.
Right.
Sometimes it's just, let's do what we know.
Yeah. So without giving up any secrets or anything, how do you feel about future incentives? We kind of like having something every month, kind of as a motivator, and it kind of like spurs us on to do more. What are your thoughts of the incentives going forward? And then also the second question is, I noticed that in 2027, it looks like there's one conference. So is a company leaning towards one conference a year and sticking with boot camps? Do you find that they're leading that way?
So I'll answer the first one. Incentives. I'm an incentives girly, okay? I love an incentive. I feel like it keeps us motivated. I like small, quick wins, which that's what an incentive does. It keeps people engaged, it keeps people in focused. So I do think you'll see incentives continue. Don't know what they will be. Even if I did, I wouldn't tell you because there's no fun in that. But I do think that you'll see incentives. As far as the second question and events goes, I don't exactly know. There's a lot of things that we do really well, and events is one of them. So I do know that events is a priority. Um, will it look different? Maybe, but it's going to be great. You might find some things out at conference, maybe. So I'm just going to be quiet before I get into trouble.
Okay. So I understand you really want to implement more. So what would you like to implement going further to make the West Coast or the West Coast and the Southwest more like a number one position?
Well, we have to start with one simple thing, which is community. We don't have one. We are very disconnected as a region, and that is not one person's fault. You've had, RD changes, haven't
Yeah.
had an RD. There's been a lot of reasons why that community hasn't been cultivated. But I think that's where we need to start as a region is becoming more connected to each other. Really, nobody understands the West business
Mhm.
unless you're doing business in the West. So we have to link arms and we really have to formulate a better community. And then I think we can do, lots of other things. But I think we need to start with, you know, getting our community back,
Mm-hmm. That I agree.
connection.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree. And it's changed. It's like we used to be able to get hotel lobbies or hotel ballrooms for a lot less money than we do now. So we have to pivot and we have to look around for other venues that would embrace what we're doing. So,
Yep.
and it takes everybody's responsibility, not just the people in the region, like in the area. It really
Yeah.
does take everybody, which is great. So I'm just wanting to know if anybody would like to open up the line and ask a question. If you have any questions for her, we're really moving along. It's 6:20, so and I wanted to open it up for a couple of questions if you guys had it. Maybe okay, Elisa, you have to unmute.
Sorry, it took a couple clicks. Thank you, honey. Thank you so much for being with us, Nicole. We're so excited to have you. My question is, I thought I had heard on one of the corporate calls, they had said something because in July, the promotion was around the healthy starts. And I thought they had said something to the effect of about how much corporate had spent in doing healthy starts. But then I wasn't right, whatever it was, I wasn't running fast enough and I couldn't remember where I heard it from. Is that something that you're familiar with or you ring a bell? Because I know that we have the different studies. I was just wondering specifically with the healthy starts, if there's any information on that.
What do you mean? So you're saying that there was a call and they let you know how much it costs the company to run that program? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I thought I thought what it was because you know how it is like when you have so much information that is flying by
Hmm.
you, and if you're not fast enough to like write it down to where you're like really
Yeah.
retaining it, you know, that it was corporate, and one of them had said, "Well, we spent, I don't know, like $2 million doing." The company invests $2 million in order to be able to accomplish the Healthy Starts program. But
Mm.
I just maybe if it's not ringing a bell with you, maybe that was just like a random thing.
It's not,
Um,
but maybe I wasn't on that call. But it's I can get an answer for sure.
I was just curious because I don't. One of the things that the reason I asked that question is one of the things that sometimes people don't realize
Where is
the
it?
positive that we're doing in taking Juice
Hmm.
Plus.
Hmm.
And so, in the context of going, look, you need to understand what you're being offered with a healthy start. This is something that the company is hugely invested in. So that was why it kind of stayed in my mind.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty high up there in number. That is a very, I mean, listen, I was a Healthy Starts kid. They've been doing it forever. Um, so I would think it's probably even more than that. I think Heidi
Yeah,
put it in the chat. I don't know if that's accurate or if it's changed, but it is, I mean, it's extensive and it's such a great, I mean, Healthy Starts is something we probably need to talk about more, honestly.
yeah.
That's definitely one of our strengths is that program. So,
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm toying with you. I know that we can't quote unquote, sponsor a school, but um, if we can like let's just say the sky's the limit, right? And let's say that we're sitting there talking to um sorry, the like the ner Robert Kennedy and going, there's a healthier way that we can treat our kids. And let's talk about, nutrition and the reality of nutrition instead of a commercial. And bring up different things to where we can make our community aware. And when my kids were, that's where we started with Juice Plus, is my kids being little and taking and doing the healthy starts. And we would not, period, have been able to do what we did without healthy starts. And it was a miraculous intervention in our lives. So the value of that is just so high. And
hmm
I'll just,
it is.
Well, yes, and it starts with each and every one of us reaching out to our pediatricians and other healthcare practitioners and having groups like Erica's house with all the community there, and maybe coming up with I see Patty.
I was with Nicole this morning, and I love doing our weekly calls with her. But I was going to ask if she would, because I think it would be beneficial. Nicole, you talked about the beginning of the month. I mean, we, especially with conference coming, and you talked about the 1st through the 15th. Do you think you can recap on that or remember exactly what you said?
I don't know if I can remember exactly what I said because I feel like you remember I told you guys this. I never use a script for anything, so everything that comes out of my mouth is really, you better be taking notes the first time. But I can give you a gist of it. We talked about this morning. Obviously conference is coming up, so we're gonna get a whole lot of, oh, I've got things to do for conference. So if you are one of those people who is going to conference, which I hope that you are because I'm going to be there and I'm the new kid on the block and I would love more friendly faces from the West. Uh, but all that to say, we all know what that looks like when one, we come back from conference, and two, if we haven't been working before conference. And so really owning your first 15 days of the month. I know it's the second. So I said, what are we doing from now till the 17th? And really look at the top three things that you can do every single day. So if that's, every 48 hours you're doing follow-ups, how many people do you want to add as a customer this month? I really want to get to a place where we are not just thriving off of the current customers we have or the current partners we have. In order to continue to grow, we have to set higher goals in general. And we do need to get more bold about talking about the opportunity. And that's something I'm working with internally to get people to feel more comfortable and confident with doing that on, in person, on social media, all of those things. But what can we do now through the 17th? So if that looks like really digging your heels into the boost your business incentive that we have and going for those extra prizes, shout out to Beth on here because she has 2,700 points. What is she
Woo.
doing, my friends? I don't know. You should ask her. But really, like let's set some clear goals from now until the 17th of what can we do to set ourselves up, because this is what I do know. If you don't work really, really strongly in the beginning of the month, and then you go to conference, you are not all the way in at conference because you're worried about your month. And I do not want you to be distracted because I have personally seen all the content that's going to happen at conference, and you want to be locked in and ready to learn and not worried about what's happening with your business. And let it, that's the whole point of this. I also want us as the West to be the leaders in making sure that our businesses are super powerful from the 1st to the 15th. And you know why it's so hard is because it's a cycle, right? We get busy with life. We're not working when we should. And so then it comes to the end of the month and you have to hustle. And the groups that meet with me, and my Q Squad group, we actually call them the what is our name? What is our group name? I changed it because it's not just Q's anymore. I think it's like our leadership legacy or something. Anywho, I talk a lot about how I want us to be the leaders on the West on working our business really, really strongly the 1st through the 15th because I hate the hustle culture. That is burnout central. And let me tell you something. I worked that way even from a corporate perspective. If none of you guys, most of you guys are very loyal to Juice Plus, and some of you it's been the only business you've ever worked. I worked for startups. I was working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I had 4 kids. Burnout. It was not even the word for me. I broke out into shingles several times a year. I was breaking out into hives every day. When I say I do not like that hustle burnout culture, I do not. And so what I want for us as a region is to learn how to work our business in the first 15 days super strong. That way, at the end of that month, that third month, that's our or that third week, that's our maintenance week, right? That's where we're following up with our new partners that we brought in and our new customers. And that last week of the month, it's like that's our recognition week. That's when we're shouting at our people, and maybe getting a little bit of stragglers in there, but to really, really learn how to work our businesses so strong the 1st through the 15th that you feel really good about your month end. And that is going to combat that hustle culture, that burnout, where this what we're doing, which is supposed to be servant leadership, which is supposed to be us teaching people how to live like we do and give them healthier lifestyles. That's the stuff we should be focusing on, right? And we can't do that when we're burned out because then it becomes work, and that's not what this is supposed to be.
I
You know,
love
that's the
that. I love
blessing of
that.
this
Yeah.
industry is that
Mhm.
it's not supposed to be that job. And that's why people are always like, oh, you work on corporate. I have the most rare corporate job, the most niche corporate job you could ever think of. I couldn't imagine doing anything for a normal corporate company because to me, it's a blessing that I get to work with all of you guys. But, burnout is real. And I want us to lead the way in showing people, hey, if you show up super strong and maximize the first through the 15th, look at what your third week looks like. Look what your fourth week look like. And that's the best example of what this lifestyle truly is. Because if we are all burnt out and we're hustling at the end of the month, we're not living a healthy lifestyle. Don't, and you can't tell me that you are. I don't care how many of your capsules you're taking, how many shakes you're taking. If you're not sleeping, you should be asleep on month end. We should be sleeping on month end. Okay. Do you know how many month I've had 10 years of month ends that I'm up till 2 o'clock in the morning every month. And I know all of you guys have had those too. And so what I want to get to is us leading the way and learning how to work our businesses super strong the first through the 15th. I really, really, really want to get there with everyone.
Hey,
Yes.
Nicole, I have a quick question,
Mhm.
and it is about conference. The question is, some people, the agenda changed, and for whatever good reason, and I'm not objecting to the agenda, but because it changed, people bought their tickets and didn't know the party was going to be Saturday night, and to change their flight and then add 2 hotel days, it's just not going to happen because it's too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I
Mm-hmm.
know that we're not going to live stream anything because we're hoping that if it's not live stream, people come to conference because then you have to be there. But for those people that have to leave on Saturday, is it in the world of possibility to record those, not live stream them, because live streaming it would make no difference. People are leaving on Saturday. They won't see the live stream. Can't they record them and have it be, because I think the breakout sessions, the learning labs on Saturday are going to be the most important part of conference. And you're talking about thousands of people missing it. And I just wrote a letter to corporate, and I wished I'd included you in that. I thought, oh God, I should have had you as one of the people that received the letter, but I'm saying it now. So I know our Heat Team NMDs sent that letter along with me. I penned it, and they said, yes, include me. But is there any chance that they can record those? And they don't have to be glamorous and perfect. We need the content.
Mm-hmm. Um, Let me ask.
I mean,
I
what?
can't I can't say one way or the other because I don't know what that those decisions were made prior to me
Right.
being a part of anything, right? So I don't know. I know that the content is good. I think we don't want people to miss out on that content. We know that. So I'm not really quite sure what the game plan is, but I do know that there's going to be a way for people to get the content. I don't know if that's going to come to you guys in a recording. I don't know if that's going to come to you guys in I don't know, maybe we reteach, like I'm just spitballing ideas. I have no idea. Don't quote me because I don't know. But there's 1,000 ways that we can get that content out to you guys that are leaving before those learning labs happen. But I will talk to the team about what the best way is that we can get it
'Cause
out,
I just,
and what
yeah,
the actual options are with the events team and things like that. Those are always decisions that were made
right.
months
But
and
just
months
super
ago.
essential. If that content is that important and you're only going to have, I don't, how many people are coming to conference this year?
Well, it's uptick in numbers, but I haven't gotten an update this week, so I would need to look. But it's a good amount. It's a good attendance this year. In the learning labs, we've had, I think, almost everybody who I see we have a really large number of people that have registered for the learning labs, which is great. I thought it would be less, if I'm being honest. I don't have I'd have to look at the numbers now, but it's a really good turnout. So I don't know if people had maybe switched some of their flights. I know that people are still missing because I've gotten messages that they are, but it's definitely not as many as I thought it was going to be, which is great. Um, Learning Labs is amazing. And I know, and here's the thing, we hear your feedback. And I know that we've already gotten a lot of feedback about the Learning Labs and it being on the Saturday and, all of those things. So I will tell you we're evolving. things and agendas will look probably different next year, for sure, just based on feedback and what we're doing. So only for the better, though.
Well, I just am so pleased with our call tonight, and I know you have to pick up kiddos and stuff and get out of the car.
Oh no, you're fine. They just texted me and said the game's still going because
Oh,
here we are. Seventh grade football, you guys. It is very serious here in the great state of
wow.
Texas. So
So, but thank you so much for being on our call and just excited that you're in this position. We're excited to be working with you and looking forward to you even hitting our towns after conference. So that will be really cool.
yes, I'm
Um,
gonna be like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Where will she be this time? So I look forward to that. I am gonna start getting out probably before a conference. Or after for sure. I think not before because it's already September. Right after conference. So October, November, I'm gonna try and get out that way. And then, maybe take a brief siesta for December, January, maybe not January because there's boot camps. But monthly, I try to at least take one or two trips. So I definitely want to be out in Arizona. Listen, here's what we're working with, just so you guys know. The West, we don't have a whole lot of events that happen. I know that there needs to be community that's formulated, whatever the case is. I am going to look to you guys, though, even if it's a small, training event that you want to do in your house. We'll work together on things like that. I can help with, content or what do you guys want to do, even if I'm not there. I really want to get back to our roots, but I also want to make sure that we are setting the standard for what things look like for the future. That is something I love holding on to tradition and legacy. Trust me, I got my career start at Mary Kay with women who had been with a company for 45 plus years and knew the owner and like slept over at her house. Like I get it. But what I want to make sure is that we are also innovative leaders that pave the way for the rest of how people do things in the US. And we can do great things. We can do really cool in-person events. I want us to get better on the internet. I know that that's iffy for some people, but let me tell you, we are in a hybrid world and we need to work our business in a hybrid way. And I am notorious for pushing people outside of their comfort zones. So if you have a one-on-one with me, be prepared for that because I will push you more than you probably want to be. But it's for the greater good of not only your business, but you setting the standard for your team and your future team. And I think everything that we do, that's what we need to think about is this everything that we're doing is for our future team, our future of Juice Plus. So
mhm.
I really want all of you guys, if you haven't reached out to me, send me an email. It's really simple. I'm going to say it. It's Nicole, Nicole dot Thomas at juiceplus.com. Send me an email if you are an SC and you have not responded to my email, or for some reason you didn't get one. Please email me, touch base. Like I said, I am not going to be an RD that's only working with the NMDs and above. I'm going to be in your face, all of you, because we have a mission and I want to accomplish it. And I want to make all of you guys proud. And more so, I want you to just feel super proud with what you're doing. And I appreciate everything that each of you have done. If you are on this call, that means that you have weathered the last year. And I am so grateful that you are here and that you have patience and that you have resilience and that you are willing to trust me to help in any way that I can. And we're just going to be in it together. Your success is my success. Every small win that you have makes me proud. And I just want you guys to feel so supported and like you have someone. And I feel like that's been missing for quite some time. And I'm not going anywhere. I got tooth and nail to get into this. I hounded Skylar for 6 months, 6 whole months while he was here. The minute he said he was at Juice Plus, I told him that's not fair. I was a Juice Plus kid. I should be working there. What in the heck? So as soon as you have something available, let me know. And I did go through the full interview process. Nobody handed me a job. I had to go against some really fantastic candidates who I know and love. Um, but I'm here now and I'm not going anywhere. I plan to stay. I want this to be my home. It feels like home to me because I know it. My kids love the products. I've been on the products. I had two very healthy pregnancies on these products. And I want to see what the next 20 years brings for Juice Plus, and I hope that you guys are ready for the ride of your life because I am just getting started. So I hope you guys are excited as I am, and we're just gonna keep hustling and working hard. We're moving. The West is we're doing some things, so I want to see it just keep growing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole. I guess we can unmute everybody and maybe just give her a big shout out.
Thanks, Nicole.
Super
Thank
grateful.
Thank you,
you.
hon.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Nicole.
you.
Grateful.
You guys have a
Thank
great night.
Hey,
you.
hey
You
guys,
too.
if you guys want
Thank
to
you.
hear Beth Pearson and what she did to get all those customers, it's on the Tips and Tools call, which is posted on the Heat Team
There
Facebook
you
group
go.
as well as YouTube, and she tells you exactly what she did. So,
It
and we're
was a
having
great
another
call.
Tips and Tools this month, the third Tuesday of the month. So stay tuned.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Nikki.
Nicole.
Night,
Thank
everybody.
you guys. Have a great
Okay, good
Bye.
night.
Have a great
night.
night, you
Yeah.
guys. Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.